What is up, everybody? Like's Apprentice. Today we're going to be teaching you how to Birdbox, Soffit, and Fascia. So if you look underneath here, we have our Soffit on and ran all the way down on the eave side, and now we're going to be working on the gable. So this is the way that we do it. This is by far the best way to do it. One thing you'll notice, we bend all of our own fascia custom. So if you're buying pre-bought fascia, you may have to cut some of this down and make it so it works for you. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to slide this in here. I'm going to make a little mark because this sticks out right here and right here. And I need to cut out just a little bit of that. So I'm going to take a snip and see what I got. I need to cut out about that much. So we're going to put it back up in here like this. We know that this is tight down on this end. So the next step, I do all this without a measuring tape, and I rarely use a square on this kind of stuff. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop to this side, and I'm just going to mark this piece like that. And I'm going to just take a square because my line isn't all the way through. I'm just going to straighten this right there. So the next step, what I always do is I take a snip and I'm just going to notch this end just a little bit. And see what I did there? That's just going to help make it easier to bend. I'm going to take a snip, I'm going to cut this. Doesn't really matter what kind of snip you use, but you can see I have that cut and I have a little notch there. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to bend it. And one thing I like to do is I'll actually take this piece that goes inside here, and I'm going to cut it on an angle like that. And that way, I'll show you here in a second, but that way when I bend this, if I left that square, I can't overbend this. So what I like to do is overbend it like that, and that's going to give you a nice crisp corner. You can see right there. So I'm going to put this guy on like so. I need to take this little bit off. So there you can see that's sitting nice and tight right there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this other side and I'm going to mark this. So I just marked that. I'm going to take my square since it's kind of squiggly here. We're going to find kind of a middle point of this. Now if you're experienced at this, you're going to notice that what I'm doing, I really don't need a tab here. And what I'm doing is reverse water flow, but I will show you why I do this when we get a little further along. So here I'm going to leave a tab. We aren't even using the compressor at the moment. So I'm going to leave a 1-inch tab, or roughly 1 inch. It's not super important. Again, I'm going to put just a little cut right there. Leave a 1-inch tab here. I'm going to cut this off. And I'm going to bend this. You can do this with the brake, or you can do this with handy seamers. I do it by hand. Again, over bending it. And then we're going to fold it back. That's going to give you a nice crisp bend there. And there you can see how that looks. Like that. So, now that goes like that. So this is our first step. Now this we're going to nail. You can see how that looks. It's tight here. We still have a piece of fascia to go here and a piece of fascia to go here. This tab is kind of unnecessary, but this is the way that we do it. I think it's a better way to do it. I'll show you what I do with this piece and this piece to make all this perfect. So our next step is we need to install Soffit and J up this rake here, and we're going to do that quick. I'm not going to show you that because this is going to be about fascia, not Soffit. So once I'm done with this, I will show you the rest of the fascia. God damn it. Never fails. So we got our eave fascia, and by eave I mean this is where the gutter is going to go. What I'm going to do, we're just going to pop it up on there, and I'm going to make a mark on this side, on this back side right here, and we're going to fold the tab this way. So for proper water flow, this needs to be tabbed underneath our rake fascia. Now I put a tab on this other piece, that's more or less so I don't have a double layer of metal here over the top of a tab, and I'll show you that when we get to the eave side. But I'm going to just follow this mark right there, and you can see I got a line right there, and I'm just going to continue this. Like so. Again, I'm going to put a little notch right here, just make it easier to bend. I'm going to cut this off. And I'm going to bend this. Again, I'm over bending it, and I'm going to bend it back. That way we get a nice crisp bend. With heavier gauge metal or not as much experience, you're going to want to use a handy seamer, or some people will even take their square and put their square right here and bend off of the square. There's lots of ways to do it, but there you go. I have a 1-inch tab there. We're going to install this piece. And then when we nail our fascia, we never ever face nail fascia unless it's on a seam. We always go underneath and nail it down here. And I bet you 90% of the fascia that we repair that blows off is not nailed under here. It's face nailed. And we just do not face nail. So I do that about every 2 feet. You can do that more, you can do that less. That's about how I do it. So that is our eave fascia. Now that's about the simplest part of this whole process. This next part is going to be the most important part. So we're going to flip to the other side and do the rake fascia. Alright, now you can see here that this piece here has a tab going around here, and this piece here has a tab going around here. This is not necessary, but there's a good reason why I do it. And once I put this piece on, I will show you exactly why. So what I like to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put it over the metal like this. We want to make sure we have enough length right here, and then I'm just going to mark right here. This is where my soffit ends, and this part needs to get cut off. I'm going to show you what I do there. So you can measure it, but here's my mark right here. So this needs to get cut off. And I see people do this portion a lot of different ways. So I have that cut, right? We need to take this portion completely off. Now there's lots of ways to do this. Some people will take this and fold this and flatten it, just to give that nice and flat. But what I do, and this is going to require some skill and proper snips. Now if I use this snip, I can't really get into this corner very well, right? And if I cut it like this, what happens is this gets all wavy and it looks like crap. So what you need to do is you need to take this snip, and I'm going to cut just right down this bend. But I'm not cutting on the corner or on that bend. I'm cutting just a little bit off of it, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So this is very important how you do this, if you're doing it the way that I'm showing you. So see what I did here, you're going to have to get real close with the camera. See how I left a little bit of that bend on there? I didn't cut it right on the corner. But now if you look at it, look at how straight that stayed. See how, if you cut it on the other side or right on that bend, it's going to get all sort of weird on you. Got some dirt on here. It's going to get all sorts of weird on you. So that's the way that I do it. Now, I'm going to put this back up. This is kind of a two-man job, although I am doing it by myself right now. So that's how that's going to essentially end up, is just like that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to come over here and we're going to mark this. Okay. So we have that marked. Now, we're going to cut that off. Again, nailing here. I'm going to hop up and nail this up here first. Get one right here. All right. So we have this the way that we want it, and the reason why I tab this piece behind this piece and tab this piece over the top is because if we tab this piece first and put this and this on, you're going to end up with a double lap here, or a double seam. So that's the way I like to do it. Now here's the only time we really ever face nail, is you're going to need some nails to hold this together. So I'm going to put one. Depending on how big this is, you may need to add more than one. But I know if I add one here and one here, it's going to be good. So I'm going to put this right here. And I'm going to put another one right here. There you have it. This should have gone just a little bit longer. Because I was doing it myself, this fascia kind of moved on me a little bit. But this should have been just a little longer, but you guys get the idea. It is kind of easier with 2 people, and generally we are going to use 2 people. That's how it looks. So, I mean, we still got to put fascia up there and run the rest of it, but that is essentially how you bird box, soffit, and fascia. And you can add caulk in these areas if you'd like. It's up to you. This house is going to be getting sided very, very soon, so I'm not too worried about it right now. We'll caulk it when we side it. But yeah, that is essentially it right there. That looks very nice. That is the proper way to do it. That is the way that we do it, and the way that we always will. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.